Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Dallas dream ends as Diggs signed shocking new contract. Wide receiver Stefon Diggs was a free agent and the subject of some brotherly love thoughts here in Frisco, with the long-standing fantasy that he might someday find his way to the Star, where his sibling Trayvon already stars. On Tuesday, that dream died, probably forever. It seems only one team was knocking down his door, and it wasn't the Dallas Cowboys. The former Buffalo Bills standout, who toiled last year for the Houston Texans, has not signed with the New England Patriots at what is said to be a 3-year deal totaling the infamous up to $69 million. Due in part to the fact he is still rehabilitating from a torn ACL he sustained in Week 8, we doubt Dallas was ever going to throw semi-shocking numbers like that at him. And now, he will probably not be cleared to participate in drills until summer training camp begins. And he's got some age on him. So by virtue of that 3-year deal, the Dallas dream is dead. The whole scenario might have helped the Cowboys get him at a wholesale price, or so it was once thought. Would Stefon Diggs give Dallas a discount to play with his brother Trayvon Diggs? There was speculation as to that. It was suggested by NFL insider Albert Breer that Diggs was to receive an offer from the Cowboys later this spring or summer. Therein may lay the key for Diggs's success this year, with the likelihood that he won't be fully cleared until at least training camp, Breer said. The best place for him, it seems, would be with a contender where he wouldn't have to be the guy, which would mitigate potential issues with his desire for the ball and also alleviate the frustration that losing can bring a guy with his sort of makeup. Oops. Not even close. Breer added that Diggs is a warrior, and there is something to that. He's put up numbers and he's competitive to a fault. A component of his style that often drags him into overly dramatic situations. In New England, it is unlikely that he will be competing for a title anytime soon, something that was a part of his resume in his 4 years with the Josh Allen-led Bills. So, in Dallas? A void remains, as Dak Prescott still needs a weapon and CeeDee Lamb still needs a running mate. While the Cowboys weren't exactly quiet during free agency this spring, there is still plenty of work to do for this team that finished 7-10 in 2024. Not only did they add some key players in free agency and via trades, but they also re-signed some of the core depth as well. Still, there are other guys on this team that must take that next step in order for the Cowboys to be successful in 2025. Today, we'll continue the Next Man Up series with tight end Brevin Spanford. The past, if there's one thing we know about Cowboys tight end coach Lunda Wells, he's going to not only find an undrafted tight end prospect, but develop him to the point he can contribute. Spanford was the third straight undrafted tight end signed by the Cowboys, Peyton Hendershot, John Stevens, that were added to the team that has made the roster. Stevens' injury last year opened the door for Spanford to get on the field early, and he never got replaced, playing every game last year. Spanford was one of 6 offensive players to play in every game and the only one on offense. The present, Spanford was able to play every game last year because he was a reliable blocker who could occasionally get open and make plays, but he wasn't the first or even second option on many plays. He caught 9 passes for 88 yards with a long of 18 yards. But being a playmaker is where Spanford can take the next step in his game. It won't be easy this year with both Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker still young players ahead of him on the depth chart. The future, the reason Spanford got here, is also the reason he can't get complacent. The Cowboys won't stop looking for young, talented tight ends, which means Spanford will have to likely win another roster battle to stay on the 53 this year. It doesn't look like Ferguson and Schoonmaker will go anywhere right now, and with Stevens coming back from injury, plus the Cowboys likely to add a couple more rookie tight ends, Spanford will have his work cut out for him. But at 6'6", 260, he does have an advantage in size that others usually don't. If he can continue to be a rock-solid run blocker with a playmaker element added to his game, he could be a player that has a role on this team for years to come. The tone attached to this year's approach to NFL free agency activity by the Dallas Cowboys is markedly different than it was 1 year ago, when they opted to mostly forego signing outside talent, Eric Kendricks notwithstanding, as the only headline grab, instead deciding to lean heavily on the existing roster of talent to see them through 2024. Ravaged by injury and other challenges, they fell to a 7-10 finish, missed the playoffs and, subsequently, parted ways with Mike McCarthy before throwing the keys to the castle to offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. With an almost entirely new coaching staff in tow, and a fresh outlook on how to attack the 2025 season, the Cowboys were extremely active in free agency, and that includes having added not one, but two linebackers to the mix. In this year's inaugural edition of Next Man Up, let's discuss how adding Jack Sanborn and Kenneth Murray could impact what's to come for Marist Liufau, a star linebacker in the making. Mega trade proposal sends Cowboys superstar to Patriots. Mega trade proposal sends Cowboys superstar to Patriots in this story. In the NFL offseason, wild rumors are one of the top stories for fans and media outlets, outside the start of free agency or the 2025 NFL Draft. Some players continue to be in the highest interest of fans, including Dallas Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons. Whether it is to hype his podcast or criticize players or teams, sometimes his own, Parsons is always active. Parsons has been so polarizing that he may be too much for the Cowboys to deal with, but the main problem is his contract. Parsons is set to go into a 1-year, $24 million team option deal after finishing his 4-year rookie contract. There is still no extension made between Parsons and the Cowboys. Cowboys Wire released a wild trade proposal that has the New England Patriots receiving Parsons in exchange for a large package. For the package to be complete, the Patriots would have to trade the number 4 overall pick, their second-round pick, number 38, their 5th-round pick, number 144, their first-round pick in the 2026 draft, and their third-round pick in the 2027 draft. The Patriots have the most salary cap space remaining of any team this offseason at $80 million. The Patriots could afford to trade for a franchise edge rusher like Parsons and sign him to an extension after a trade. New England could immediately give Parsons what Dallas couldn't afford to give. Both teams come away with wins moving forward. The Patriots got an elite pass rusher who accumulated 52.5 sacks, 63 tackles for loss, and 112 quarterback hits in the 4 years of his career. The Cowboys are relieved of a huge burden in their salary and receive the opportunity to draft multiple stars, including Colorado wide receiver/cornerback Travis Hunter with the number 4 pick that Cowboys Wire projects. And you, fan? What do you think about Micah Parsons' situation? Write to us in the comments.